Hey, welcome back to the 1993 Colorado Rockies expansion sim in OOTP 20. I wanted to show you the players I took in the 1992 draft. First round, I took Charles Johnson, catcher prospect, right out of college. Round one, number one, we had the first pick over Colorado. And I chose him. I mean, I love a catcher with high catcher ability. And looks like he's got the bat to support it, although his contact has been slow to come in. OSA thinks he's better, but he has a lower ceiling than my head scout thinks, which is interesting because my head scout favors ability over tools. So I kind of trust my scout's take on this. So Johnson, he basically came straight into, I mean, when I first drafted him, he went into my rookie leagues, but you know, every time I'd go down and check the minor league reports, the game would recommend that he's ready for major leagues, and honestly, I think he is. But I've got two really good catchers on my major league roster and need to move at least one of them to pull Charles Johnson directly onto my roster. And I'm pretty much ready to do that. Let's. I guess that can be the second thing we do after we talk about the draft. I want to talk about my roster. In the second round, I asked my scout what he thought, who he thought was the best prospect. He said, this guy, Paul Loduca, college prospect, at catcher again. And my word, look at this, unheralded to me. I don't even know this guy, Paul Loduca, but my goodness, OSA thinks he may be even better than my scout thinks. So I got two 21-year-old catchers who are probably ready for the big league roster right now. This guy's still in Class A, but I need to pull him up onto AAA system. Probably need to pull him up onto AAA soon because he's hitting for positive WAR, and in single A, he's probably ready to at least go to AAA. Man, the third round, my scout told me to get this guy, Gator McBride, and I went and looked at a bunch of other guys, but I kept coming back to Gator. And you know, with a name like that, Gator McBride, he's got leadership too. So hopefully he's going to fill in a bit more like OSA thinks, but regardless, I think he'll be a serviceable corner outfielder. Gator McBride. Fourth round, I took Tony Medrano, shortstop. And in this case, I hope my scout is right, and because I sure need more good infielders. He does have a pretty low error rating for the infield, but I probably ought to go ahead and put this guy in Class A. Fifth round, Jose Feliz. Took a flyer on him. OSA thinks he's going to have contact for days, but we'll see. First and third base. Troy Fortin, yet another catcher prospect, and he'll probably be trade bait. I can only use one catcher at a time, you know. Let's see, who is this? David Moore, third base. I don't know too much about this guy. I'm not sure my scout is right about it. Joshua Rash, center fielder, outfielder. Felix Heredia. For some reason, I've got this guy on my AAA squad, and I mean, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. Yeah, he's only 17 though. What was I thinking, man? I don't know what I was thinking, but he's got high work ethic and Probably send him back down to single A at least, if not rookie ball, when I get my wits back about me. And then finally, in round 10, Ramon Vega, who, well, hopefully he's going to pan out to be at least something that we can use to trade. Anything else? Yeah. One of these guys might turn out, but we won't go through it all. Okay, let's go through position by position catcher, because this is where, for being an expansion team in our first year, we got an embarrassment of riches here. Starting with Tony Barron. He doesn't have a great rating at catcher, although his catcher arm looks like it has improved a bit so far this year. But he is hitting for, look at this, 371/421/657, a 167 OPS plus, and already almost a complete WAR. And we're just, we just finished April. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy. I want to move him to first base so I can play Sandy Alomar. As you can see, Sandy Alomar has high contact. Love this guy as a catcher. High work ethic. He has not really performed in his few at-bats for us, but I think it's just small sample size. I think he'll do fine. This is the guy I really want starting for us behind home plate and helping settle down our pitchers. Our pitchers have enough trouble at, playing half our games at Coors Field. So, but his salary, $770,000, just like Tony Barron. He was an expansion draft pick, and both of these guys, I got to move them both for Charles Johnson. I mean, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back down to my roster and tell you about the minor leagues. And you can see I got 3 blue chip prospects in the minor leagues at catcher, and all from the draft. Charles Johnson, you've seen. I will probably run him and Sandy Alomar Jr., probably platoon them. They both bat right-handed, so platoon doesn't really make sense, but, I want Johnson to get some reps in the bigs. He probably needs it to finish out his development. I mean, goodness, the guy was just drafted, a few months ago. So, hats off to my scout. And look at Paul LaDuca. Wowzers. And then Troy Fortin. I just took a flyer on him. My scout, he was a round 6 pickup. And, at round 6, you're starting to think, whatever, man. And so, yeah, good catcher prospect. And this is new to me, Michael Monday, who's a minor league free agent we signed in early April. I just took a flyer on him as well, and he is progressing more than I thought he would. Okay, let's back up. Boop, boop. Back to here. So those are our catchers, and as you can see, I'm overloaded with catchers. I need to trim some of these. Yeah, I keep finding reasons not to, but I need to. First base. As you can see, both the catcher prospects, Paul LaDuca and Troy Fortin, can both play first base. We've also got Frank Bollock, who is a corner infielder, first and third baseman. Very good defense. Doesn't make mistakes with the ball, doesn't throw the ball away, and he can hit some dingers. He was my everyday third baseman back in spring training, I think. So he's a guy I need to figure out what to do with. He is not doing so great in AAA. He needs the I think he's one of the guys that needs the pro competition. Frank Bollock. Kevin Jordan. This guy's an infielder, plays first, second, and third. Not shortstop yet. Master of slapstick comedy. And he was a trade. I picked him up in a trade. Let's get back. Oops. Let's see, anybody else? This guy, Scott Liddy, minor league free agent signing, and has really, his rating has really come along, but I got no place to put him. He's doing fine in AAA, but he's ready for the bigs. He's one of these outspoken guys that, you know, when things are good, it's okay. He does have speed, so he'd be good in running the bases at Coors Field. There's Medrano, there's Monday, J.R. Phillips. Okay, let's look at here, let's just do it. Let's just sort it. Oops, not that. Sort by position. On the big league roster, I have Jose Offerman and Jeff Conine at first base. And who are you going to pick? Offerman hitting 375. Conine hitting 359. Maybe it's the Coors Field effect, you know. Maybe I just need to, man, I don't know. I got Offerman because he had some shortstop ability, but oh man. And now Conine. Again, embarrassment of riches. There's Jeff Fry at second. Dred Jeffries, he is our third baseman, although he is first base by nature, but he's doing fine at third base. Jose Vizcaíno, our shortstop, he is, I think, the most light hitting of our hitters, and so I'll probably be on the lookout for a better hitting but equally fielding shortstop, and I know they're in short supply. Now the outfielders, Tony Mitchell has done incredibly well, hitting 333 with a 209 OPS plus, and I've got him in a backup role. You play both left and right, both corners of the outfield, and first base. Again, logjam at first base. He's young, and he's probably only going to get better, so I got to find a spot for him. Ronnie Gant hitting 279, but underperforming, only a 76 OPS plus. Great speed, and plays left field. He's got good range in left field. I probably will end up shopping him because the other guys are playing better. Here's Lance Johnson, the pièce de résistance. Great outfield range. He's a great center fielder for us. Came to us in a trade, and actually, yeah, came to us in a trade with the Minnesota Twins. Hitting 308, he was one of the last bats to come around. He still is only a 76 OPS plus, so there's that. What's his work plus batting stats? There it is. He has got a 92 wins. What's it called? Runs created. The runs created. So he's hitting below the 100 mark, so he's 8% below what an average person would be. So that's not good, man. That's hard to believe, man. That kind of makes me think the size of Coors Field has not been factored in properly. Stanton Cameron, another guy I don't know what to do with. He has not performed well off the bench in spring training or so far. As you can see, he's got 13 plate appearances and no hits, although he's got a 308 on base percentage. So he's got a really good eye, right? He's got as many walks as he does strikeouts. And I really want to give this guy a chance. He's only 23. I picked him up in the Rule 5 draft from Montreal. But great outfield range. You can play all the outfield positions, especially left field. But again, I got Gant. I got all these good. I got these. Colorado Rockies, a bunch of really good players. Too many of them. Trey McCoy, also another outstanding outfielder. He plays left field at an elite level and right field extremely well, center field decent. And again, he's a pretty young guy. He's 26 years old. Picked him up out of Texas in the expansion draft. He's got a straight 100 OPS plus, already half a WAR for the year. And I've got him essentially in a backup role. Dante Bichette, he is kind of almost my golden boy, because I picked him up in the expansion draft pretty early, I think round 6. And my bench coach keeps wanting to put Bichette. He keeps wanting to play McCoy over Bichette, and so I have to, whenever I have the bench coach set up the depth charts and lineups, I have to manually change it back to get Bichette the starting spot in right field. And he's hitting 353. I think he's doing all right. 121 OPS plus. So, yeah. What's his work? Work plus bat stat view expanded 139. So 39% above. Cool. I guess this has convinced me that these guys are, it's the Coors effect, I guess. We've played long enough to, batting average first. All these guys should be hitting in the 300s, right? I have to confess to you, I'm an old Georgia boy. I grew up listening to Skip Carey call the Braves games in the 70s. In the 70s, that's how old I am. And when it was on the radio, and you watch the game with your rabbit ears. You adjust the rabbit ears for Channel 17, WTBS, before it became any kind of a superstation. A lot of their programming was just Braves coverage, but I watched the radio because I was usually out playing or hear the voices drifting across the lawns on a hazy summer evening. So my knowledge of baseball is rooted in the 70s, and then I kind of came back to it when the Braves went on their run in the early 90s. And really, I've never been to Coors Field, so I don't know. I think I need an actual impression of how big it is. Maybe I just need to go to a game there. And that's my plan. I'll go to a game in Denver. Anyway, so those are the players we drafted, and you can see now our top prospects. Top 2 are catchers from this year's draft: Charles Johnson, Paul Loduca. In my manager's office, you'll see that my top prospect, Charles Johnson, ranks number 33 in the league, and my owner wants a top 14 prospect. Well, Johnson was a round one. He was the number one pick in this draft. So unless we completely suck this season and get another number one pick, I don't know. It's going to be a while before we can get a top 14 prospect, I think. The boss wants us to have a top 6 minor league system by 1997, and we're currently 14th. And again, that's from this being number one in this year's draft. So I don't know how you do this, but we'll keep trying to get more prospects. 23rd out of 28 in the power rankings, which means if we're first in batting average but 23rd in power, how can that be? First in batting average, 5th in home runs. I got to think about that. Let's see. We haven't talked about pitching. We will talk about. I don't want to make these videos too awfully long. If you're like me, I like to listen to my YouTube OOTP videos and fall asleep as I'm falling asleep at night and as I'm going to take a nap on the sofa. And so it really messes with continuity, falling asleep, you know. So I'll try to keep these relatively short, and I'll put a break here. Your Colorado Rockies, 1993, 9-14, 5.5 games back in the National League West, but really this year I just don't want to suck, and or completely, at least. So some more roster tweaks are in order, I think. Maybe some of these guys, it's time to maybe Tony Mitchell, although he's only 22. Maybe Jeff Conine. Some of these guys, especially the first base guys, will probably be traded to bring us some kind of starting pitching arms for the rotation, or even better for the farm system. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, I'll see you next time.